now listening to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast. I think it's safe to say Martin Odegaard is back. The skipper is in the house and he is tearing things apart. People wrote him off far too quickly. This is a guy that had a serious ankle injury last year and was fighting his way back. But tonight he absolutely wiped the floor with the Emirates pitch. He was superb. He was dancing all over the park. The freedom he was given to express himself, going all over the pitch. He wasn't restricted to that right half space in interchanging with Saka like we've seen quite a bit. He was allowed to roam right across the pitch. Very similar to what we saw against Chelsea a few years ago whenever we beat them 5-0. This was a performance where Ødegaard was able to get from the right to the left into the centre and really dictate and show what he was doing. Drop deep, get the ball from the centre-backs. Everything was about quick movement, releasing the ball fast, moving around the pitch, scanning, knowing where his teammates are, and ultimately getting Arsenal up the park. And it started so early on. You see the movement right at the beginning of the game, a couple of minutes into the game, Martinelli's header that just went wide. It was a glorious opportunity, and Martinelli should have scored that. The cross from Skelly was something that we haven't really seen from him before. It's something we're being told that Gabriel Jesus is working with him on, and you saw the kind of cheer of encouragement from Jesus on the touchline whenever Skelly made that cross. But ultimately, this was a game that we should have won probably 7-0, given the number of chances we created. But it's safe to say the handbrake absolutely came off today. Mikel Arteta let every Arsenal player go and express themselves. I mentioned Ødegaard right from the off. He was getting the ball, kind of spraying that ball across the park. First time, knew exactly where people were. He had already scanned the pitch. You look at the passes through the middle into Viktor Gyokeres. He got the ball in that left half space, pushes it out of his body, gets that bit of separation and whips that ball in. And Gyokeres for the goal, especially the Martinelli goal, absolutely brilliant play, brilliant strength. And it's Martinelli that gets the goal and puts it in the back of the net to put us 1-0 up very early on. And Martinelli's a player that I always want to see scoring goals. He's a player that thrives off that. He needs goals in his game. If his confidence dips, his game really dips. But with confidence brings more goals for Martinelli. It's very simple. He's a more one-dimensional player than some of our other attackers, but we know he's a threat in and around the box. And tonight he really showed that. And Viktor Gyokeres, for the goal, the strength he showed, he was definitely second favourite. Managed to shake off two defenders, gets that shot in very early, really strong. The shot goes straight at the keeper, but what I loved was Martinelli tried to let that ball run into the net, made sure it was protected in case it didn't, has his body between himself and the defenders in case someone gets back, comes off the post and he taps it in. But at that point, it felt like go and kill the game, go and really go for it. And we saw Gyokeres be played in on numerous occasions. There was one where he comes in, another great ball from Ødegaard, lovely timed run, gets off the shoulder of the last line, and straight away he's in. You can see him, he takes it onto his left foot, a bit similar to what he did in Bilbao, where he gets it and he doesn't quite have the angle. The ball ended up going out of play. There's another one where he comes running in field and the ball goes high and wide. And we saw this with Trossard as well. Trossard had numerous chances to put the ball in the back of the net tonight. One absolutely glorious chance in the second half. Merino plays him in. Acres of space, just wrap his foot around the ball and put it in the top bin, but he couldn't do it. And that was a bit of the theme of tonight. We were creating an abundance of chances. This is probably the most chances that we've seen Arsenal create for a while. There were so many opportunities for us to score, for us to kill the game, and we just didn't do it. And that's something that I think Mikel Arteta will be talking to the team about. But ultimately, as a coach, he set us up to play more freely tonight. We were able to move the ball through the middle of the park. And one thing that you might have noticed was Leandro Trossard coming into the middle to give us an overload in midfield. We had four men in that midfield unit a lot of the time, and that was allowing Ødegaard to really go all over the pitch. But similarly, Trossard was going back out wide whenever that ball came to that side of the pitch. But him coming central did give us a 4v3 in midfield a lot of the time throughout the game. And at the back, David Raya's passing from the off was absolutely exquisite. The way he was breaking the lines, just playing that pass, playing it very risky, and really getting that ball into space and allowing Arsenal players time to move it. And with Zubimendi in there, We know we've got a player that can look after it very well, can move it quickly, can put his studs on it, slow the game down when it's needed. But behind him, William Saliba, his passing was just unbelievable tonight. His whole all-round game, the way he was carrying into midfield, dropping that shoulder, as we know he likes to do, to beat his man, to carry the ball forward, and the same the other way when the ball comes back. Saliba is so comfortable, so composed, dropping the shoulder, throwing his attacker, and just letting them fall into space as he ghosts away with the ball. And to the right, we saw Ben White coming into the game a bit more. Some nice bits of play from White, some nice passes, one very good recovery tackle, and another good tackle within the box. But Ben White's a player that's very much getting back to fitness and someone that I think looks quite a bit off from what he was, but that's to be expected. He's lost nearly a year of football. Beside Saliba, Gabriel was just brilliant again. We know what we get from him time and time again, and hopefully his injury is just a knock to the head. It didn't seem to be too serious, and he sat on the bench afterwards. With Miles Lewis-Skelly on the bench, or on the left, I mentioned that early cross, and I thought this is great. Miles looks really like that he's ready to attack. But throughout the game, I still see a hesitation in his game that I didn't see last season. He's solid, but it looks like he's not willing to take the risks he did last year. Other than one run through the center of the pitch where he kind of got going and he ended up coming down. He got hauled back down to the ground. And I want to see Miles get back to that spark in his game that we saw last year. Hopefully, more minutes and more rhythm will start to help him develop that confidence again and really showcase what he could do, because I feel like we've lost something in him this season. And I know that I'm being picky. He's 19 years old and he's someone that's got a lot of development to do. This is his second season. He is going to be found out a bit more. And it's ultimately about developing layers. But he was also playing every week last year. Now he's not in the team regardless. He has to earn his spot. He's got an incredible player in Calafiori in front of him. But this was a big 90 for him. This was a big, big run out. And I think it's important that he gets these minutes into his legs. And this is exactly what I wanted. But I'm going to have to go back to Martin Odegaard because the performance today was just unbelievable. I mentioned people had written him off, but everything about today stemmed from Martin Odegaard's organization, his leadership, the press from the front. Martin Odegaard, he times it, he conducts it, and he makes sure everyone is singing to the same hymn sheet. Off the ball, everyone is a yard sharper when Martin Odegaard's in the team. And on it, it didn't matter where the ball was flung into him. He looked after it and he came away with the ball. His pass accuracy wasn't as high as in other games today. And that's a good thing for a player that's playing in his role. He was taking chances. He was playing the ball into the channel. There was one moment in the first half where he gets the ball, first touch, lets it drop over his head, and he pings it across the field for Leandro Trossard on the bounce. It doesn't reach Trossard, but the intent was there. And I was looking at moments like that and thinking, this is the Ødegaard that we all fell in love with. This is what we know he can do. And it might be Olympiakos, and people will write them off. But these sides in the Champions League are no mugs. They're not there to be walked over. They're going to go there and really fight. And Ødegaard tonight was our best player without a shadow of a doubt and really, really showed what he could do. As I said, this was a game that we should have won by a lot more. Mikel Merino had a mixed first half. There were some bits I really liked, the way he looked after the ball, the way he can turn, the way he can send the ball down the line is brilliant. But Merino always has that thing in his locker where he does turn back, where he likes to go for that extra spin. And he is a player that's more effective at crashing the box and playing right at the top of the box. And that was something that was interesting tonight. When the team sheet came out, I thought that Arsenal might have lined up with Zubimendi, with Merino, and then with Martin Odegaard as the highest of the three midfielders. But actually what we saw was Odegaard and Zubimendi interchanging and Merino remaining as the highest player and the one that was closest to Viktor Gyokeres, and Martin Odegaard conducting things from further back. That's something that I think we will see a lot more of. Zubimendi and Martin Odegaard together just fit like a glove. They're two technicians in the middle, and they just work. To the left, Trossard, I mentioned the chances that he had, and I think he should have come away with at least a goal tonight. He'll be disappointed not to. We know how good of a finisher Leandro Trossard is, and he will be very disappointed that that goal didn't come. But the big man up front, Viktor Gyokeres, he had the chances. And I want to talk about the other parts of his game, the link up, the way he interacted with his teammates. One move in particular, the ball comes into the edge of the box from a throw in and he gets it. And it's one of those where he holds his man off, taps it back and gets us into the box. These moments, these link ups that we were seeing, we weren't seeing them 6 weeks ago. We weren't seeing them a month ago, even 3 weeks ago. These are the elements that Gyokeres was struggling with in the Arsenal team. He now feels comfortable with his teammates. And ultimately, this guy just needs a goal. I'm really disappointed he didn't get one tonight, and he will be even more frustrated. I think he'll be angry that he hasn't come away with a goal. But I'm looking at a player here that I think is really fitting into the team, and perhaps just needs to take that moment and remind himself he was he was the top goal scorer in Europe last season. He's a born finisher. And that's right now what he's lacking. He's just not putting the ball in the back of the net. But his all-round game is growing at such a rapid rate that I can honestly say I didn't expect this part to come the way it has. He has massively surprised me in terms of his link-up play. His touch tonight I thought was excellent. The way he was pulling defenders, and if he's making those runs and he's pulling that last line back, he's creating space. And it's for other players to go and attack that space, get into it. And we saw time and time again, every time we went forward, Gyokeres was making the run. One of Trossard's chances when he cut back and tried to lift it over the keeper, Gyokeres is running through the centre. Either passes on, but Gyokeres takes two defenders with him, and that's what opens the space for Leandro Trossard. By his run, he's taken multiple men away, and having that big presence at centre forward, he's occupying multiple defenders. That's something that's really, really difficult to do. And that's something that teams really, really hate and struggle to defend against. So what's next for Gyokeres is getting that goal. That's what he needs. He hasn't scored for a few weeks now. He had a tough game against City. He responded really, really well with a big, big game against Newcastle, a very good performance against Forest. And he's someone that really needs to now just go and grab that goal. He needs to get on the score sheet. It doesn't matter where it goes in, how it goes in. It's just a case of getting the goal, getting us over the line. And I think I kind of feel like a big goal, a winner, the opening goal would be a massive boost for him and really, really stamp his mark on the Premier League and this team. On the right, Martinelli obviously opened the scoring, and I thought it was a really good performance from him. But Martinelli is one-dimensional, and he is someone that will frustrate. And he had one moment right after he scored where Arsenal break on the counter. The ball comes down on the edge of the Olympiakos half. It's literally just past the halfway line. Gyokeres is making a steaming run through the middle of the park, and he's got acres and acres of space. There's no one near him, probably 20 yards away from him. Martinelli doesn't get his head up. He tries to take his man on, and that's what we see time and time again from him. It's not getting his head up. But then the substitutions came in the game later on, and they really showed their quality. Jurriën Timber, honestly, I'm just lost for words. The guy is faultless. Every time he comes on the pitch, he comes away with the ball in every challenge, and he just looks like a step above. And to say that about Ben White is something I never thought I'd be saying. Timber is just unbelievable. And then Saka, Eze, when those two come on, again, you saw the quality of the pair of them. Having Ødegaard on the pitch with them, we saw the technical abilities combined. And what was really interesting tonight was, a lot of people ask, where were they playing? Saka was allowed to roam right across the front in the way Ødegaard was in the first half. We saw Eze moving out to the right, out to the left, into the center of the pitch. Suddenly the game and the movement became a lot more fluid. That does make it difficult when you go the other way because people are less kind of familiar with each other in defensive spaces. But on an attacking standpoint, it makes it very, very difficult to stop. That's something that I've been calling for a lot more of, having our wingers switch in positions, having our 8s and 10s go out to the wing with our wingers coming in field. And with a player like Eze on the left and a player like Saka on the right, we can really go and kill them. But it was Saka's goal that ultimately decided the game. And it was a good strike. Keeper should save it, but it was a good strike. Lots of power on it. And it was him coming in on a stronger foot and really putting that ball in the back of the net. But for me, this is a big goal from Saka. It's one of those where he's just back. He's been out for a month. That's his first goal since his injury. And it's a big statement. It came at the right point. We needed this goal. Honestly, I think if we finished this game at 1-0, everyone would have left frustrated. Everyone would have been calling for more, and everyone would have been questioning, why didn't we score more goals when we created so many chances? So it was Saka, our best player, who was there on the night to absolutely kill the game and really go and fire that second goal home. It was what we needed, and we've seen it time and time again. We know we can rely on him. but we need to keep getting him into these positions. We need to keep giving him opportunities where he can't be triple marked. And on this occasion, it was Eze out on the right at that time. Ødegaard plays a delicious ball into him. And we saw Ødegaard play that ball at other times tonight. We saw him play it against Newcastle at the weekend into Lewis Skelly. And just the way Ødegaard is functioning right now, I love him in that left half space. I've wanted to see him in there more. And it seems now we're going to get the best of both worlds because he will float around the pitch. He'll interchange with Zubimendi. That bit more freedom and the trust of the two centre-backs behind, hopefully we'll start seeing our creative players really be given license to create, because Ødegaard has not become a bad player. He's been a player that's struggled with injury, with fitness, and so on, and I think a bit of confidence. And tonight, he almost got a big goal as well. Wonderful bit of play from Saka down the right. He takes a touch, looks like he's going to cross it. Next minute, he pushes it ahead of him, gets to the byline, cuts it back. I think Ødegaard probably should do better with the finish. And then the follow-up, he opens his body, moves it around to try and put it in with his right foot, and it's cleared by the defender. So, it was one of those games. You look at the volume of chances that we're creating, the volume and the repetition of similar actions and things that are coming through the center of the park. And that was one of the big things tonight. I mentioned Trossard coming into the middle and really allowing us to overload that Olympiakos 3. We saw it against Newcastle again when they were going man-to-man. We created an overload with Trossard, and it allowed us to go through the middle. We saw Trossard coming in for the chance where he hit the post. Declan Rice played him in on that occasion. It was similar tonight. It was another overload. Trossard manages to find the space on the right, and he doesn't take it. Trossard, again, had a very good game. We saw the one I mentioned with Gyokeres putting the ball high and wide. Again, that was Trossard played him in. These moments are happening on the pitch. It's a matter of time before people start taking chances. And I feel like had we have scored earlier, got that second goal earlier and killed the game, we could have won this game 4 or 5-0. By not scoring, the opposition get their backs up. They really start to get confident, and they worked hard tonight. Ali McCoy summed it up. He said it wasn't Arsenal that got worse in the second half. It was Olympiakos got better. They grew into the game. They worked very hard. They got the ball down into the wide areas. They put a lot of crosses into the box. And I have to make a big shout out for David Raya. Multiple times he made big saves today. The one in the first half from Daniel Podence is an unbelievable stop. Tips that over the bar. And then we saw even the goal that was disallowed. It's a point-blank stop from him. And then obviously the rebound, he couldn't do anything about, but that was chalked off. And similarly, we saw another one in the second half from point blank range where he just stops the ball with ease. This keeper is unbelievable. His distribution was exceptional. His collection from crosses and corners, again, otherworldly, and just an incredible goalkeeper who I haven't talked about for a while because he's just so consistent and so good. But ultimately, this was a performance that I really enjoyed, other than the final action in front of goal. But that will come. I'm very, very confident that that will come, because my criticism up until now was we're not creating enough chances. Tonight, we created enough chances. We just didn't take them. And when you're creating, the goals will come. That's ultimately the kind of truest thing with football. If you can create, you can score. And Gyokeres tonight didn't take his chances, but there's plenty of room left to score goals. There's plenty of opportunities, and he will get on the score sheet. Bukayo Saka really stole the moment with that last-minute goal, but it was Martin Odegaard who was absolutely man of the match tonight, and a real welcome home game for him, because I feel he's needed this. He's needed a game where he ran everything, where he showed his magic, and he just was given license to play. But tell me what you think. Drop a comment. Do you think that Martin Odegaard was man of the match? Do you think he's back? Where do you think this leaves him in this standing for the team? Because he is going to want to be straight back in as the main man, as he deserves, as he should be. He's the captain, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have to fight for his place. So tell me what you think. Who else stood out for you? What impressed you? And what more would you like to see at the weekend other than better finishing? Was there anything in the game that really caught your eye? And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Please keep coming back for more. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again very soon.
You're now listening to the Arsenal Therapy Podcast.